Alright, ladies and gentlemen, and I guess a couple of you wrestling fans out there, welcome back to Music Village. And apparently, according to Dan the Weatherman Stu, we don't have any thunderstorms to worry about until the midnight hour, so we're good. But besides thunderstorms, folks, I think it's time for us to go into another edition of the NXT review from the Performance Center in Orlando, Florida. And to kick off NXT for this week, we would see none other than Sir William Regal with a special announcement from the Limitless Dual Champion himself, Keith Lee, who would announce that as of this week, after defending the championship last week against Dominik Dijakovic, both championships, mind you, he would decide to relinquish the North American Championship, not to limit the opportunities of the future of NXT, for William Regal to not only honor that selfless act by Keith Lee, but also to raise the stakes by announcing triple threat matches all the way up until the next NXT pay-per-view known as NXT TakeOver 30 that will take place one night prior to this year's SummerSlam. And the first triple threat match that will take place later on tonight would be none other than Johnny Gargano, Bronson Reed, and of course the Undisputed Era's own Roderick Strong to take place in the first triple threat matches for this evening. But before we can get into that triple threat match, folks, the next match to take place, or the first match to take place on NXT for this week would see none other than Dexter Lumis going one-on-one against Killian Dane. And during this match, Killian Dane not only weirded out, but also furious with the drawings of Dexter Lumis and would ask Robert Stone to make this match happen last week for it to take place this week. Nice! And during this match, action will go back and forth, including seeing Killian Dane pull off the Great Divide, which was a Mike Knox crossbody on the outside of the ring, and even pulling off a nasty Kevin Owens-like cannonball in the corner, and even being able to take out Dexter Lumis with a nasty powerbomb elbow drop combination for a near fall. But ultimately, this match would come to an emphatic end when Dexter Lumis would take advantage of the shortcomings of Killian Dane during this match, hitting not only a senton bomb, but also locking in the Uranagi into the something move that we like to call the beautiful silent artwork. We're working on a better name for that Kira Takome chokeout that he does, for Dexter Lumis to win this match and put Killian Dane to sleep via submission. And according to the maestro, the name of the move is the Kata Katame. I still can't say it right, no matter how many times we try. And after that match, folks, the next match to take place on this said NXT for this week, which would see none other than Breezango going one-on-one against Canada's own Everrise. And Breezango, to get in the head of Everrise, would dress up as the Mounties. Or the Mountie. Or was it Mounties? It was only one Mountie, right? Yeah, one Mountie, but Breezango decided to honor them and get inside the head of Everrise by dressing up as the Mounties. And during this match, in a match that I do believe most of the announcers expected Canadian Destroyers, Canadian Backbreakers, and everything to be just, oh, Canada, would instead see the psyche of Everrise being put to the test with not only fake outs of supermodel kicks, but also seeing the Quebecers trying to pull off some tandem maneuvers only for near falls. But ultimately, this match will come to an end with Tyler Breeze and Fandango hitting supermodel kicks on not only Parker, but also Matt Martell during this match for the team of the Canuckers, better known as Breezango, to win this match via pinfall. And the next match to take place on NXT would see none other than Shotzi Blackheart going one-on-one against Aaliyah with Robert Stone in tow. And funny that we say in tow because Robert Stone still with a boot on his leg after Shotzi Blackheart would run over the leg of one Robert Stone. But Robert Stone would get his revenge last week, costing Shotzi Blackheart a match against Indy which really did ruin the psyche of one Shotzi Blackheart. But would she be able to get her revenge during this match? Well, yes she would. Because not only because of the distraction of Robert Stone giving Aaliyah of enough an opportunity to actually hit a facebuster from the apron to the floor, would only see that advantage last for about a good minute and a half, seeing Shotzi Blackheart coming back into this match with not only a question mark kick, but also hitting a beautiful big girl senton from the top rope to win this match in emphatic fashion via pinfall. And after the match was over, Robert Stone would once again get his leg crushed by the tank of Shotzi Blackheart. And just while Shotzi Blackheart would celebrate with her traditional wolf-like howl from the tank, next thing we know, we would see Mercedes Martinez with a DOS boot to the face of one Shotzi Blackheart, actually helping out the Robert Stone brand. And why? Well, it would be found out later on that night that she doesn't want to deal with the paperwork and the office stuff that Robert Stone could do, and would ask to be under the services of Robert Stone under one condition. If he oversteps his boundaries, he will have his legs broken by Mercedes Martinez. So now the Robert Stone brand is under the watchful management of Mercedes Martinez. According to the Maestro, it's the other way around, but by the way of the fear in the eyes I saw of Robert Stone, yeah, we're going with the vice versa there with this case. And the next thing to take place on NXT would see the first out of 5 triple threat matches to find out who's gonna earn a spot in the North American title ladder match at NXT TakeOver 30. And during this said very intense triple threat match, you would see offense pulled off against Bronson Reed in the form of not only a Tiger knee powerbomb combination to take out the big man during this match, who was able to pull off, and I kid you not when I say this, a Uranagi reverse DDT combination that took place during this match for a near fall. And after they got rid of the big thick boy element during this match, Johnny Gargano and Roderick Strong would try to take each other out with not only slingshot spears, but also double underhook backbreakers that, depending on where you live, would be called the welcome to insert your town here mother effer for a near fall. Only for Johnny Gargano to get the last laugh during this match, or so I thought, with the one final beat DDT for a near fall until, look up in the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane, no, it's the thick boy known as Bronson Reed with a giant oversized splash to Roderick Strong, winning his spot in the ladder match at TakeOver 30 via pinfall. And I got a feeling the hand of Johnny Gargano was crushed. Seriously, all that weight on the hand of Johnny Gargano, yep, it was crushed. And before we forget, folks, there were some other cool moves that did take place during this match. Not only a beautiful tiger knee to the face, or let's say it properly, a beautiful tiger knee to the face that took place inside and outside of the ring to Bronson Reed thanks to Roderick Strong, but also a beautiful angle slam that took place during this match by Roderick Strong that still got him a near fall. Yeah, a lot of heavy hitting action in that triple threat match. And speaking of that heavy hitting action, folks, the next match to take place on this said week's edition of NXT would see none other than the Thatcher's Thatch Can master himself, Timothy Thatcher, going one-on-one against Oney Lorcan. And Oney Lorcan looking for a little bit of revenge for his loss 2 weeks ago, and also revenge for an up-and-comer who almost got his arm ripped off by Timothy Thatcher last week. And during this said contest, action would go back and forth, seeing not only double wrist locks, but also arm bars aplenty. And at one point, would even see Oney Lorcan driving the shoulder of one Timothy Thatcher into the ring post. And when you think that would have gotten him the win, especially especially with that half and half suplex he was able to pull off for a near fall. He would try to do a double wrist lock during this match, but unfortunately would get caught up in a pin, having both of his shoulders down to the mat for Timothy Thatcher to win this match via pinfall. But by further examination of the cameras, we would see that Timothy Thatcher, with his good hand, would grab the tights and get leverage for the pin to win this match with some sneaky tactics. You know, something that they didn't teach in the Thatch Can classes he was teaching over the past couple of weeks. Most likely the cheating edition of that class, but hey, by any means necessary, like they would say. And also during this night, folks, not only you would see none other than the leader of Team Kick, Dakota Kai, calling out Io Shirai after kicking her head off last week during the main event of NXT, where the women's championship was on the line, and unfortunately saw Tegan Knox coming up short during that said contest, and would say, "Make sure you look me up after your face heals." And then apparently Io Shirai would say next Wednesday she's there to go right after Dakota Kai after what she did. And alongside with that, you would also see a special look at Isaiah Swerve Scott calling out El Hijo del Fantasmo after their actions last week, and would say that, yeah, I'm coming after that NXT Cruiserweight Championship. And then even earlier on in that night, folks, we would also see Finn Balor saying that, unfortunately for Dexter Lumis and his other opponent in the triple threat match next week, it sucks for you for the opportunity that you're gonna get, because that NXT North American Championship is gonna get the Finn rub, and you're both gonna get pushed to the ceiling after you fight against me next week in that triple threat qualifier match. And finally, last but not least, after we've been brought up to speed on all the backstage promos that did take place during NXT for this week, we would see the main event for this week, none other than Karrion Kross going one-on-one against Dominik Dijakovic. And the reason why in the world this match is taking place, folks, for those who didn't see NXT last week, after Dominik Dijakovic would end up losing and coming up a little bit short against his rival/friend Keith Lee, he would call out Killer Kross, saying he's not sure he's able to beat Keith Lee at the level he's at now, only for Killer Kross to come from out of nowhere, say something in Armenian, and then do an exploder suplex to Dominik Dijakovic on the outside on the concrete, knocking him out and saying his classic words of TikTok. And this would lead to this match for this week, where Dominik Dijakovic would promise to knock the head right off the shoulders of Karrion Kross during this set match. And during this slugfest in Budapest house fight that would take place, not only you would see elbows to the face of Kross, not only that, but also a time to fly moment with a suplex toss from Dominik Dijakovic for a near fall. But would that be enough to stop the Herald of Doomsday? Nope. Because Karrion Kross would come back during this match not only with a Doomsday Saito, but also that Gravedigger kick to the back of the head and even a DDT during this match. But that wouldn't be enough to stop Dominik Dijakovic. Instead, it would be a kick against the ring post and the steel steps, with Dominik Dijakovic's head squeezed in between both of them, almost decapitating him during this match. And ultimately, this match will come to an end after not only a whole bunch of nasty forearms to the face of Dominik Dijakovic, almost Rocky style, with Keith Lee coming out there and actually trying to protect his friend, for Dominik Dijakovic say, "This is on me, this is on me." All before that cross jacket choke was put onto the neck of one Dominik Dijakovic, as his best friend would sit there and watch and not throw in the towel, for Karrion Kross to win this match in emphatic fashion by squeezing all of the oxygen out of the head of Dominik Dijakovic via submission. And after the match was over, Cross would stare a hole right through Keith Lee. And not to mention, I almost forgot last week, this is a response after the gift that was given to Adam Cole in the form of that hourglass would get smashed by none other than Keith Lee. See, this is the reason why you don't break gifts given to you by Killer Cross, or Karrion Kross. And oh, by the way, a very happy birthday to Karrion Kross for this week. I almost forgot to mention that. And with that birthday shout out of the way to wrap up this NXT review for this week, folks, we might as well go ahead and grab a glass of water, and when we return, we'll be back with more Friday afternoon delight as Music Village rolls on right after this. So don't go anywhere just yet, folks, and stay tuned.